Shooting an Elephant by George Orwell. George Orwell immediately begins the essay by first claiming his perspective on British imperialism. He claims that it is evil and he is fully against the oppressors, the British. Though he is a British officer himself at the time in Burma, he feels a certain hatred and guilt towards himself, his empire, and the evil-spirited little beasts, the Burma people. In the essay, he writes not just about his personal experience with the elephant, but how metaphorical the experience is to imperialism and his views on the matter. Orwell's feelings are the hostile feelings towards the British imperialism and Britain's justification for their action in taking over Burma. The entire mood of the essay is set when Orwell illustrates the setting to be a cloudy, stuffy morning at the beginnings of the rains. This in turn sets the tone of Orwell's speech to be weak and discomforting. He already has established the fact that his character is weak when he introduces the Burma people and how they laugh and mock him, the British officer. The build-up the build-up of finding the elephant is a metaphor itself showing the destructive power of imperialism. The elephant's rampaging spree, rampaging spree, destroying homes, food shelves, and even killing a man whom Orwell described to have an expression of unendurable agony. Upon finally finding the elephant, Orwell says, I knew with perfect certainty that I ought not to shoot him. But when he lays eyes at the huge mass of people behind him, he changes his sentence to, but I did not want to shoot the elephant. Orwell then repeatedly states how immoral and guilty it is to shoot the elephant. Despite the many reasons to not shoot the elephant, such as how it is worth more alive than dead, how he is a poor shot, he ultimately falls into the expectations of the Burma people. Against his will and moral belief, he decides to kill the elephant. Orwell uses the death of the elephant as another metaphor of British imperialism in Burma. On a side note, Burma was a free kingdom until British expansion came in. There were 3 wars between the British oppressors and the Burmese. There was the First Anglo-Burmese War in 1824, and then the second in 1852. Finally, the Third Anglo-Burmese War was in 1885. And it was when the British finally took on control of Burma. In George Orwell's essay, he writes, when I pulled the trigger, I did not hear the bang or feel the kick. I fired again into the same spot. I fired a third time. That was the shot that did it for him. 3 wars, 3 shots. The elephant is a symbol of Burma and its struggle to remain alive. Finally, staying down after the third shot, the elephant still lives, just as the Burmese people are still there, but with less strength and hope after the wars. They are now controlled by the British. It can also be looked upon that the elephant's death was a metaphor of the decline of British rule in Burma and how they slowly went away or died off. There is a sense of guilt Orwell gives when he mentions seeing the elephant lying there, powerless to move and yet powerless to die. As some Britons became doubtful of the right to rule others, both sides began to feel hatred and resentment towards the British Empire. Orwell made himself believe it was right and it was illegal to kill the elephant by making ideas to justify what he had done. By stating legally I did the right thing, a mad elephant has to be killed like a mad dog if its owner fails to control it. Orwell even shows a different light when he admits he is glad the villager was killed in the attack because legally that to justify what he has done, but still he knows the truth to be false. The elephant could have saved have been saved without unnecessary harm, but Orwell chose the latter. Orwell uses metaphors such as when he compares himself to be a magician about to perform a trick, or as being a lead actor in a piece, and even an absurd puppet, a posing dummy, and to be wearing a mask. Holding the magic rifle, the Burmans of course expected him to kill the elephant. Even being a white man, the authority, it was even more expected. It is then Orwell claims he realized the true position of whites in the East and how imperialism hurts not only the victims but the oppressors. Orwell explains how, when the white man turns tyrant, it is their own freedom they destroy. Being the white man, Orwell says they constantly must impress the native and do what the native expects of them. The natives have the control of the white man. Orwell must complete his role, what is expected of him, and do definite things. Orwell realized that throughout his entire rule in Burma he is actually the victim of the Burmese and their expectations of what he should do with his power that force him to do what they want.